Hey everybody, I am Jesse Moreng with Optimyze, here to guide you through a breath class, to review a bunch of different breath practices, some basic breath work that you can take home with you and do on a daily basis. So the first thing we're going to do today is go over a few breath basics and some concepts of breathing that you can take with you throughout the course of your day, and they're going to come in handy with the understanding of some of the exercises that we're doing today. So the first thing we want to be mindful of when we breathe is the importance of nasal breathing. Breathing through the nose as much as we possibly can throughout the course of the day and the night is extremely important. The reason this is important is because our nose is tied to our parasympathetic nervous system, and it helps us stay in a calm state. It also produces nitric oxide, which is a powerful vasodilator, and it allows the uptake of oxygen more. And we also know that nitric oxide is antiviral and extremely great for the body and against viruses and bacteria. So the more we breathe through the nose, the more of this we produce. We don't produce it in our mouths, and we also get filtration through the nose and warming and cooling. So nasal breathing, super important. As much as you can. When we are speaking, which a lot of us do, I have to mouth breathe right now, so I'm not breathing through my nose. We all speak, and so when we're not speaking, we want to breathe through our nose. So we'll got that. Number one, nasal breathing. Number two is working on conscious breathing. So bringing awareness to the breath throughout the day as much as we can. This is something that can differentiate something that is a negative habit or exercise versus a positive exercise. So in the example of breath holding, if we breath hold unconsciously, this is and can be a very negative habit and pattern. But if we use breath holding consciously, this could increase our health and be a positive thing to do. So those are two things to keep in mind. Besides the nasal breathing, whether we're doing things consciously or unconsciously, and bringing awareness to the breath. Easily said, but more difficult when we work to put that into practice. And so what we'll do today is we're going to work into the explanation of 5 different breathing exercises, and then we are going to go through them, and Josh here is going to go through the exercises, and we're going to put them together into a routine that you could take and do every day or multiple times a day to improve your health. There are so many different exercises and different health routines, but many of us neglect to just focus strictly on our breathing, and the only time we really work our diaphragm deeply or these different breathing muscles is when we are exercising. And it's very rare that we sometimes sit still and just focus on the breath. And this is extremely powerful for our overall health for so many different reasons. So I'm super passionate about sharing this with all of you, and I'm excited to get moving in the exercises.
Let's do it.
How you feeling, Josh?
Awesome, I'm ready.
Nice.
Excited.
All right, great. So the first thing that we're going to work on and get to understand is something called the easy breath hold. And so we're going to all be able to take our score, and this is going to be a gauge that we can track throughout our training to see our progress. And the easy breath hold score is something that is meant to track your tolerance to carbon dioxide. And so we have both oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the blood, and often carbon dioxide is thought to be a negative or a bad gas, when in fact, the more carbon dioxide we have in the blood, the more oxygen that is released out of the blood into our tissues. So the less we breathe, the more oxygen gets released from the blood to the tissues. And so if we have a low tolerance to carbon dioxide, this is the gas that triggers us to breathe. If we have a low tolerance, we're going to need to breathe more. If we have a high tolerance, we're going to need to breathe less, and we're going to get more oxygen to our tissues. So the first exercise, the easy breath hold, is exactly how it sounds. We are going to just take easy inhale in. We're going to let the air out, and then we're going to hold our breath, close our eyes, go inside, and we're going to wait for that first significant urge to take a breath. And we'll start the stopwatch, start and stop the stopwatch when we take that breath, and that'll be our score. And so we're not going to worry really the score, how big or small it is, long or short, but it's going to be our own brand. We're going to use this to increase our score and find where we're at. Do you have any questions with that?
Nope.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start it. I am going to, I have my stopwatch over there, so I'm going to watch the clock.
Okay.
And you're going to take the slight inhale, exhale, not expel all the air, just to neutral. Hold your breath. We're going to start the time. And then you are going to lift your finger when you take your first breath.
Okay.
All right?
Start when ready?
Yep, start whenever you're ready. Inhale, exhale, and hold. Okay. Great. So your score was about a 19. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so we're gonna work to just increase that score as much as we can. And this is a quick, easy exercise that I recommend you guys doing right when you wake up. The score will change based on what time of day it is. And after exercise, so in the morning at a resting state is a great time to take your easy breath hold score. This is not going to help increase our tolerance, but it's going to find our gauge. So, great work. A lot of people have difficulty gauging when that urge is, and as you do this more and more, you'll become more accustomed to the urge. Josh could have held his breath much longer, so it's not your maximum breath hold. If, when you're done with this easy breath hold, you have to take a gasp of air or breathe hard, that's an indication you've held your breath too long and past that initial urge to breathe. So we're trying to gauge our normal inclination to breathe, maybe if we're sleeping or resting, when our body would naturally go for that second breath. Okay, so good job. So we got the easy breath hold. Yep. The next thing we're going to move into is an exercise called very little breathing. These are easy to remember because they sound just how they are. So in very little breathing, we're going to be restricting our breath and taking in less oxygen than we normally would. And this could be done many different ways, or several different ways, right? I could pause at the top of my inhale or at the bottom and stop breathing and holding back the air that I want to take. Or I could just slow that breath cycle down really slow, slower than I want to. You don't have to take deep breaths. You could take little shallow breaths and hold it, but what we're trying to do here is get that level of carbon dioxide up just above the point of comfort. So we're going to be in that state of slight discomfort. We don't want to have it too painful.
I remember this from your class. It was a tough one for me.
Yeah, it can be painful.
But it was good. It's good knowledge.
And so you don't want to make it too uncomfortable or painful. We want to hover in that area of discomfort, and we're going to do this and begin, and we're just going to do it for a minute long or less, and I'm going to kind of describe as we're going through and as you guys are going through, just some reminders on what we're doing.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Perfect.
So after your next breath, we'll just begin to slow the breathing down, maybe pausing or maybe just taking in a little bit less, getting to that area of discomfort where you want more air, but you're not allowing yourself to take that bigger breath. If it gets too painful, you could take a little bit more in. If it's not uncomfortable at all, I want you to hold back a little bit more. This discomfort that you guys are feeling and that Josh is feeling, this is carbon dioxide in the blood, and it's above your typical tolerance level, your baseline. This is the baseline that we're working to increase so that you guys can breathe less and get more oxygen to your tissues and your cells. Good, holding back. Sometimes I like to imagine hiding my breath from somebody if they were watching, not letting the person watching me see my stomach moving or see any sign of me breathing. And last 10 seconds. And we'll go ahead and breathe normally now. Good. How did that feel?
It was tough. I mean, it was good. It was good practice.
Yeah.
Good practice and control, but you can feel it rising. And the trick is to like not just kind of come back in the center, like knowing you're okay. But that one, you can feel it rising.
And the great thing about these exercises that it doesn't matter what level of fitness you're at, if you can barely take a breath or barely take a step without getting out of breath, or if you're an Olympic athlete, we can always work to improve our tolerance to this gas of CO2 and improve our health. So the very little breathing, what it does is we hover at that state higher, and as we do this more and more, we will increase our tolerance to CO2, and we are going to move through these exercises, then we're going to combine them together into a longer set that we can do. So good job on that. If you guys get into an area where it's really uncomfortable and you end up gasping for air, just restart. That's okay, So that's our first one, was the easy breath hold. Second one, very little breathing. Third one we're going to go into is single nostril breathing. This exercise has so many different health benefits. We're not going to get into every benefit of each exercise today, but we're going to go ahead and do single nostril breathing. There's different ways to do this breath exercise, but what it is how I like to do it, and we're going to do it today, is putting the two fingers here on our forehead, and we're going to use the thumb and the ring finger at separate times. First, we're going to close our right nostril with our thumb. Inhale through the left nostril, and we get the top slow and deep breath. We're going to close the left nostril with our ring finger and exhale out the right nostril all the way. So Josh is going to continue this. And you guys are going to be breathing in through the left, out through the right. And as we do this and get this circular breathing in through the left, out through the right, we're going to start to try to focus on low, slow, and deep breathing. So I'm going to instruct you guys to work to bring the oxygen or the breath lower into the belly first, slower, really slow and deep. So low, slow, and deep. This is how we want to be breathing most of the time as well, and through this exercise. So we're going to do 5 more full breaths, fully inhaled, expansion of the diaphragm, expansion of the belly, then up into the chest, in through the left, out through the right nostril. As Josh finishes up just a few more, we're going to switch hands, and then we're going to go the opposite direction. Fully in. Nice. Let go. Nice and slow. Low, slow, and deep. And we'll go ahead and switch it up. Now you're closing the left nostril with the thumb, inhaling through the right. Good. And exhaling out the left. On this next inhale, try to go really slow through the belly first. Feel the belly expand. Make it nice and slow. Good. And then after you come all the way in, we'll go out the left nostril. Good. Just a couple more. And we'll take one more. Good. They work, so single nostril breathing, working to slow the breath down, low, slow, and deep. Great work on that.
That was really nice.
How you feeling?
Really good. Center, that was really nice.
Great.
That was really good. Just kind of.
Yeah, the great thing about single nostril breathing is that helps you focus, but it's also a down regulation exercise, so it's great for calming our nervous system, revitalization, a lot of different benefits. So it's a great thing to do alone as well as combination. So we'll move to number 4, exercise number 4 for the Optimyze breathwork class today. We're going to work on breath of fire. So breath of fire, we want to always be in a seated position, upright, and we're going to be exhaling and inhaling out the nose and in the nose. We're going to be working to get the inhale and the exhale the same length, and speed and cadence is going to be different. Some of us are going to go slower, some of us are going to go faster. We are focused on the exhalation in this breath. So as I take a little inhale, little exhale, one more inhale, I'll begin, and as I exhale, I'm going to push the exhale out, my belly will go in, and I'm going to let the inhale happen on its own. So that's kind of how it's going to sound, and again, it could be slower or faster, and we're just going to do a quick 30 right now, Josh. So we will inhale, begin. Yes. Focus on the pushing out, the exhale. You're working your diaphragm in the opposite direction of that it's usually worked. We're working the exhalation and letting the inhalation happen naturally, which is typically the opposite of what occurs in our normal breathing. Ten more. Two, and one. Good. Breath of fire, great exercise for focus and attention and more up-regulating of an exercise. Great work. Yeah, and that one, as we practice this more, we're going to be able to extend the length of time. Some of you who may be just starting this, have never done it before, might just get a few exhales and then have to stop. You could restart. So don't get discouraged. Keep working this. This diaphragm is such an important muscle that we very infrequently work specifically. So this exercise really works that diaphragm in this opposite direction. You could often get sore after this.
Yeah.
So number 4. So number 5, we're going to move into another upregulation exercise. And I like to call these full power breaths. So Josh is going to work on that low, but instead of slow, he's going to pick up the pace a little bit. So pull the breath as low as we can, bring it up, and fill up to a full, complete breath, focusing on the inhale instead of the exhale like we did in Breath of Fire. Filling up, expanding, and then relaxing and just letting go. So in the nose, out the mouth in this exercise, and we're just going to let the exhale go. We're not going to, not like this.
Right.
We're just going to just let it all out, and we're going to have this a connected breath. So there's no top and no bottom. And after we do 30 of these, after the exhale, we're going to hold our breath, and we're going to do a maximum breath hold. So this exercise, it's the 5th and final, and it's a combination of full power breaths with a maximum breath hold. And so Josh will begin, just get 30 deep full breaths, working to go start slow and smooth, and you could pick up the pace. We don't want to be straining or too vigorous and too intense, but we want to be pushing these full deep breaths and continuing with not pausing at the top or the bottom.
And you'll tell me when
I'll count for you, yep.
All right.
All right, we'll close our eyes, deeply in, letting go, and begin. Good. All the way, fully in. Good. Good, 20 more. Last 10. Really expanding that diaphragm, that belly. Last 5 before your breath hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take one more in. Slowly let it out. Let it out to neutral. Seal your lips. No more breathing. Go inside and just hold your breath for as long as you can. CO2 is rising now after it's been put down. When you do need to breathe, take a deep breath in, fully in, hold it at the top, just for a few seconds here, and then begin to breathe normally in and out through the nose. Some normal breaths. Great. So, good job on that. You might get a little bit lightheaded, a little bit dizzy in those deep breaths. So making sure you're in a safe seated environment when you do this is extremely important. We're not going to push it too hard. That connected breathing pushes CO2 lower, which is not what we want to do for the majority of our time when we breathe, the majority of our day, our lives. But in a conscious exercise like this, it has many benefits. So we went over the 5 exercises, and what's exciting now is we're going to combine these. And this is really the exercise that we want to leave you with to implement into your daily practice. So I'm going to begin guiding Josh through one round, back to back to back to back to back of these exercises. And so we're going to do the easy breath hold score. We know our score now. So now that we have our score, we're going to shoot to get to 90% of that score. So Josh was a 19. We're just going to subtract a few seconds. We're going to have him hold his breath for 17 seconds. Right after that breath hold, he's going to go into very little breathing. He's not going to take a deep breath, very little breathing. And we're going to do that for 2 minutes. Then we're going to go right after very little breathing to breath of fire for a count of 60. If that's too much, you guys can pull that back to 30 from the breath of fire, 60 breaths. We are going to go right into, oh wait, I skipped one. Got it wrong. We're going to go single nostril breathing.
Oh yeah.
Before, sorry. So right after your very little breathing, I'm going to say, okay, you have 10 more seconds. After the very little breathing, you'll go right into single nostril breathing. 1 minute, one direction, the other minute, the other direction. Okay? Then we're going to go into breath of fire, 60 breaths. Then we're going to go into deep power breaths, ending with a breath hold. After that, we're going to do 30 seconds of normal breathing. And that's the routine. Today we're just going to go through, for you guys, one round. But what I want you to do is do 3 rounds of this. So we're going to go 3 rounds, and then at home you guys are just going to go right back into it.
Oh.
So today, for the sake of time, we're going to just go through all one round together. So first exercise here, Josh, is going to be your breath hold. So let's go ahead and relax our bodies. We are going to, in just a few seconds, when I cue you, Josh, take your breath in, take it out, hold your breath whenever you're ready. Inhale, exhale, hold your breath. And in 2, 1, begin to breathe, but very little, giving yourself less oxygen than you need. Very little, restricting the amount of airflow that's coming in, keeping yourself in a state of oxygen hunger. You want to breathe more, but you're not allowing yourself, getting very familiar with CO2. Just another 30 seconds like this. As you're holding back for another 10 seconds, I'm going to have you put your right hand up to your forehead, get in position to begin single nostril breathing, in through the left, out through the right, in 3, 2, 1. Nice deep breath and slow in through the left. Plugging the right, then switching, exhaling out the right. Good. We're going to do deep, slow, low, slow, and deep breaths. In through the left. Out through the right. After your next exhale, switch your hands and we will reverse and go the opposite direction. With the left covering the left nostril with the thumb, inhaling through the right, and then exhaling through the left. Nice and slow, low, slow and deep. Taking our last final breath in through the right. After the next exhale, we're going to prepare for a breath of fire, 60 breaths. After this exhale, Josh is going to place his hand down, sit up, take one nice inhale and exhale. Exhale. After the next inhale, he's going to begin his breath of fire. I'll count. 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10 more, 6, 8, 9, and 60. And exhale all the air out, blow it all the way out, suck in the belly. Settle down for a couple of breaths. Nice slow breaths. And in just a few seconds, we're going to go right into our full power breathing. 30 deep breaths with the final maximum breath holds. After the next exhale, Josh, and whenever you're ready, begin deep full breaths, connected, no top and no bottom, circular breathing. 2, good. 3. 20 more. 10 more breaths. Great work. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take one more in, nice and slow. Let it out. And now hold the breath. Go inside. Don't worry about how long you could hold your breath for. Hold it for as long as you can. When you need to breathe, you'll take a deep breath in. Hold it full at the top. Holding it full, top. We'll move into some slow nasal breaths for just 30 seconds. Low, slow, and deep, calming breaths. She'll take about 10 breaths here, and that'll conclude one round of our Optimyze breath class today. And so, Josh, great job.
That was awesome.
Great job.
That was great. What a great routine. What a good way to start your day.
Great work, yeah.
That was amazing. I feel dropped in just on the 3 alone. That was great.
So just on the 1, we've just done 1 round today. At home, we're going to want you to take that and encourage you to work your way up to 3, or if you're there and you feel ready, start with 3 rounds. So Josh, after that 10 normal breaths, he would go right into a breath hold, easy breath holds, and then through the whole thing again. So really powerful stuff. Challenge you guys to do this every day for 30 days and feel the difference. We're going to work on a lot of different things in doing this, and so yeah, it's really an honor to lead you through this and guide you, Josh, and be here teaching you guys. So please commit to this breath work, give us feedback, and it was great to be here today with you guys. Bring awareness and presence into your life. Namaste.
Namaste.